Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe. And look, Dave Stotts has flyaway hair. Let's get that fixed so it's not flying away.
He's making himself look pretty, although he's got one of those faces, Dan, where he doesn't need any help. I mean, he's like one of those, GQ model guys looking at his wrist.
5 o'clock shadow and everything, looking good. Yes.
This interview is over.
Dave,
I have a 5 o'clock shadow, but it's 5 a.m.
Well, it's still 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Dave Stotts is a great guest. He's a historian, filmmaker. He's got a show called Drive Through History, and we're going to talk about that in just a few. Dave, let's talk about how adorable your kids are. You had them on the Mother's Day bit that you did for Drive Through History. You did a breakdown of Mother's Day, which I thought was awesome. But then I'm assuming those are all your kids.
Those are my kids.
Okay.
Those are my kids. Yeah.
You had those kids on there, and did you write that script for them? I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah. So here's the deal. You get to like the night before Mother's Day, and if you don't have a gift,
been there, done that.
Here's what I don't. So if I was going to counsel like a young married couple, I would tell the guy, I would say, always have like a backup gift, hidden under the bed or back in the closet, because what married couples do, they say, we're not going to give gifts this year. I don't want anything for Mother's Day or whatever. And we all know that that's not true. Yeah. So I didn't get that memo yet. So I didn't have the emergency gift, but I did have 4 kids, and I thought, okay, they're pretty cute. So I whipped up a little poem, and my poems aren't real good because they rhyme. I guess real poetry doesn't rhyme.
Really?
So I wrote up a little poem, and then so I gave them, little line readings. I said, say, okay, say this line, and you should see the cutting room floor. I mean, the edits. Terrible. In fact, one of the little things, I thought my son was pooping in the bushes in one of the moments, and that made it into the cut. Me yelling at him, Nathan, don't poop in the bushes. Poop behind the house where you're supposed to. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, people.
So anyway, so I edited that together in a little music video to show my wife for Mother's Day, and it worked. Somehow I pulled a rabbit out of a hat, and so I did several of those, and so I used 2 of them in that Mother's Day special.
All right.
It's very, very funny. You can check that out at drivethroughhistory.com. It's specifically about Mother's Day. Dave breaks it down, which I didn't know how Mother's Day started. I never really thought of it. I just have participated since 1860. But anyway,
you've been alive that long? Wow.
It's great stuff. Yeah, I thought I'd get a chuckle out of you, Dan, but I guess, yeah. But anyway, it's really good stuff. There's a line in there, and all the lines are really great, and there's some very funny ones, and you really have to watch it to just get the full brunt of the humor. But one of the boys says, "And you give us baths, and you wipe our nose." Because it's a rhyming word. You're waiting, you're just waiting.
So the line that set that up was I think you put Band-Aids on our cuts.
Yeah.
You then something, and you wipe our dramatic pause. No.
That was awesome.
Dave Stotts, the son that was pooping in the bushes. How old is he? Is he 16, 17, or?
Well, now you mean?
Yeah.
He's 8, and I still have to tell him,
wow,
get out of the bushes. Yeah.
Get out of the bushes. Go to the bathroom. Okay. Wow.
Well, I have 3 grown boys, and they all went through that. I mean, I don't know, the first 5, 6, 7 years, they didn't even use an indoor toilet. They just went outside, and that's what boys do.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I would never do that. And I know you guys, you're very sophisticated.
Yes.
You would never do such a thing.
We don't have bidets, but we are sophisticated and we go to the bathroom, So.
I travel a lot for this show. I have yet to have the courage to try the bidet overseas.
Yeah.
But I think this conversation has kind of gone off the rails, guys.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get back on the rails.
Yeah, we better get back to business. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Dave Stotts, historian and filmmaker, and I said this before, Dave, but your stuff is really, really good. It's entertaining. We think you're entertaining, but the stuff that you do, you start digging into stuff. And, you had me at humor, but you sell me, and I've got it when you talk about the facts. In fact, you have a series of like how Christianity helped, or maybe how Christianity changed, like India and South America, and some of the Asian countries. And I find that fascinating. How did you come up with these? Are these new ideas? I didn't find those before.
We our broadcast partner TBN has been really great to work with. We've been working with them for 18 years, something like that, and they wanted us to do a series. So we did 18 shows on the Gospels. We did 18 shows on Acts to Revelation.
Yeah.
So we kind of had the New Testament sort of covered, and TBN had a big 2020 idea that they wanted to do 20 shows from all around the world in 20 different regions of the world. And they thought, well, what if we had a half an hour show to highlight? And so they would do a flagship show from those locations. And so they're flying around the world doing these shows. And they wanted to have a drive-through history program to kind of be a companion to show alongside their broadcast. And so they said, how would you guys like to go to 20 regions around the world and do a show about how Christianity made it from Jerusalem to that part of the world? And we said, let me think about it. Yes. Yeah. Depending on where we go, some places, you're not just itching to get to, but we concocted this outline and a whole 20 different regions, and off we went. And I think, have you guys heard of this thing called the coronavirus?
What?
Yeah,
never heard of it.
Yeah. You should check the news. Yeah, it's all over the news.
Okay.
And so that sort of threw a monkey wrench into it a little bit, but luckily we had done most of the traveling in 2019. So we'd gotten many of the trips in, and so we spent a lot of the year kind of editing. And so we've been releasing these shows one a week on TBN, and I think we're coming up to the last one. They ended up, I think, only going with 18. And we have so far done 19. So we're wrestling with whether or not to close the loop on that and do that last region. But so we got a lot of traveling in. We got a lot of pages on our passport stamped, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
And so it's been a lot of fun. I learned a lot. You guys, mentioned something about me being a historian. That's really not the case. I always get nervous when people ask me, where I studied history. I tell them Wikipedia.
Wikipedia knows everything, and it's all correct. So.
I'm not like a total nerd. Yeah. And so, so we've been able to kind of learn a lot about how, the gospel spread and Christianity made it to all these different regions of the world. And so that's kind of the third in that series of Gospels, Acts to Revelation, and then where did Christianity go after that?
Any of those 18, 19, I guess you've done 19, but 18 that were released, any of those like surprised you? Like, wow, I'm really surprised that the gospel did, God was able to accomplish that.
Yeah, you go to places like Singapore and Dubai, and there are stories there that you've never heard of, and we think about Christian Europe, and it's not really the case as much anymore, as we all know.
Right.
And so those are the ones that automatically people's minds go to. But we learned a lot about some of the off the beaten path places where God has done some pretty amazing things. So we learned a lot. We went to Ukraine, we went to Egypt, we went to Ireland, Philippines, Singapore, Australia. Australia was pretty amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. I'd never
I'd love to go. Yeah.
Oh wow, it's incredible. Trying to explain to your 8-year-old son how you left Australia and you actually got home before the time that you actually left.
You left.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I understand how that worked, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think I took off from Sydney at like 1:30 on a Sunday and I got back at 1 on that same Sunday.
That's a fast flight right there.
It's very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave,
Did Superman fly around the world really fast?
Yes.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe we
turns
did that.
back time. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
Superman Dave Stotts, historian, filmmaker. The reason why I say historian, I found that on Wikipedia. I figured I'd take advantage of it and use it.
That's right.
Filmmaker. The show's called Drive Through History, drivethroughhistory.com. You can also watch it on TBN. I love the truck. I don't know if that's your truck on the Mother's Day one, but that truck is awesome.
Isn't that cool? You know, we borrowed that from this guy who used to be the mayor of this town. And of course, I'm forgetting the name of the town in West Virginia. And he was really cool guy. His name was Nick Fantasia.
Wow.
How about that for a name? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had this garage. And of course, you know, the car theme of our show fit really well. And he let us into his garage and we looked around at his stuff. He got vintage cars. I mean, from wall to wall. This garage is the size of my house. And he had this, that old truck with that beautiful kind of old vintage patina on the paint job. And I got to drive that all around rural West Virginia.
How fun.
And I played John Denver Country Road as much as I possibly could. I did. I had to do that.
As well you should.
Yes.
That's a great show, as well as the other one's episode. You can check it out again at drivethroughhistory.com. You talked about filming 2019. Let's talk about 2021. Are you doing any traveling? Are you going to do traveling? What we
are doing is we're doing a pretty good bit of traveling. You know, you mentioned the Mother's Day special we did. Of course, that's not part of the How Christianity Spread series. That's a whole nother series that we were able to work on during 2020 when everything was shut down. We still could do domestic trips. So we went all around the States to do this other series, which is all about America's favorite holidays. And I guess they're not all American holidays. I mean, we did St. Patrick's Day. So we had taken that trip in 2019 in Ireland. And so we did an hour-long special on St. Patrick's Day. So we're doing hour-long specials on holidays. And we did MLK. We did these Mother's Day, Father's Day specials. I'm just now today putting the finishing touches on a Memorial Day episode. And so in that hour-long special, we talk all about the veterans and the wars we've been in, and we go all over the country to look at famous memorials. And so that series, we're doing 12 of those. And we're doing, you know, we handled kind of the Christmas and Easter with our Bible content. So we're doing, you know, 4th of July, Thanksgiving. So we're doing those over the course of this year. So those will be released on TBN as part of their big push to kind of celebrate American holidays this year, kind of from our kind of drive-through history perspective of highlighting kind of the Christian story behind a lot of these things. So that's always a thread that we try to weave through all of our content, is to kind of highlight God's fingerprints throughout history, and in this case, the history of these of American holidays. So.
Now, on the Father's Day one, does your wife get the kids to do a poem for you?
Yeah.
No. I've already pre-written that for myself.
So, have you?
Yeah, I'm doing my own Father's Day video. Look, if you want something done right, you got to do it. Yeah.
Very true. I mean, she just doesn't know how awesome you are, as like you do. So,
well, she's not the filmmaker. You know, she only does little things like keep us all alive with music and clothing. Yes, you know, stupid stuff like that. That's
small
easy.
Things. Yeah.
Dave Stotts with us. The show's called Drive Through History. You can check it out on TBN, also drivethroughhistory.com. The last, I think we talked to you in 2020, I believe. And we talked about, you know, being at home and, as you mentioned earlier, not being able to travel. So as things start breaking open, what do you think God is saying to you for 2021 and beyond? We hear some folks say, hey, it's a reset. It's a divine reset. Let's go back to normal. What's your perspective on the whole thing from now on?
Wow. I really would like to share with you my opinion about vaccines. Okay, let's go right into that. I'm kidding. I don't know what I know, but I don't trust my own opinion about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Where we go from here, I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff has changed permanently. This whole Zoom phenomenon, and whereas you guys might one day invite me to into your studio to physically have a conversation, I think.
Yeah.
I think this is probably stuff like this is probably here to stay.
Yeah.
But if you would like to invite me, I accept. So
You have a standing invitation if we ever go back.
My agent can call you to kind of talk through what kind of hotels I prefer.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, so we have a lot in the pipeline even now. We're working on some Bible apologetics content that we're going to do for another distributor, as yet to be unannounced.
Ooh.
But one of the things that we are excited about doing is we've built quite a library of footage over the years, and a lot of stuff that you really wouldn't be able to get anymore. I'm talking about like aerial drone footage of the Holy Land and stuff like that.
Wow.
We have decided to kind of to focus on how do we repurpose some of that stuff, because traveling isn't as easy anymore. So we are thinking, okay, how do we do more kind of studio shoots and repurpose some of the great stuff we have already in the can? And so the traveling might, slow down a little bit, but I did recognize that this show of ours is still quite possible, just so long as you're willing to do a show from your backyard.
Hey,
we
that
actually
works.
did one of the shows we did do. We did on India, and we just went ahead and announced at the beginning of the show. It's like, you know what? We are not able to go to India because of the pandemic, and so we did an entire show on how Christianity spread to India in that region of the world, and we did it all for Dallas. And
Which looks
luckily,
nothing like India, probably.
well, no, on contrary, there are a lot of like Indian temples and we even went into an Indian restaurant. They gave us a tour of their menu, and I went back and watched them cook, and so we got a lot of stock footage and imagery, and we actually made a pretty good India special.
Awesome.
Right here from Dallas, and it kind of got me thinking, maybe I don't have to go wait in line and do the TSA pat downs anymore. Yeah, no, but I think things are going to start opening up, and we're going to get back out on the road.
Awesome.
So,
well, I'm going to watch that India one now and go, because because being from Dallas and be like, oh yeah, I've been there. That's not India.
I mean, McKinney is like little Mumbai. There's a lot of great restaurants and all these cool Indian temples, and we kind of use them as sort of a backdrop for how we talked about their culture and how Christianity got to that part of the world. So yeah, it was really fun. Really a lot of fun.
Good stuff. Dave Stotts. We always have fun with Dave. He's a great guy, and what he's doing is pretty amazing. Historian, filmmaker. Drive Through History is the show. You can watch it on TBN and also drivethroughhistory.com. Dave, as always, we love it. We'll talk to you in about 3 or 4 months.
That's excellent, you guys. Thanks so much, Dan and Rick. I love talking to you guys, and keep fake laughing at my jokes, and I'll keep coming back. See, like that.
That was a fake laugh.
The
rest of them were real.
Forced.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.